Tries one. On the power play, Sakic fakes it, takes it, scores! Joe Sakic, power play goal!
Welcome, everybody. We're back. We're back. And I am slightly less angry than I was on Sunday. Slightly. If you go back and you watch, after I got off the call-in show, I went over to Arsenal History and More, and me and Jez did our best Kyle Walsh impression and blew up at the chat. But it was good times all around after that. It was very cathartic. So welcome everybody again to the TJ Warren YouTube channel, TJ Warren TV, Arsenal versus West Ham United preview. We're going to go around. I want everybody, we're taking a page out of the YouTube book. I want everybody to go around and shout out their channels first, socials, what have you, and introduce yourselves. Let's go ahead and start with Jez.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Great to be back on TJ's show. It's always great fun. I love this show. Arsenal History and More, my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, those that you do, subbing, liking. It's growing very nicely. And you can find me, collins.jez, on Instagram. And at the moment, I'm going on so many different shows. And I'm loving it. It's great. Great fun. And big up, TJ. Your shows, your channel is growing very nicely. And everybody, let's get TJ up to 500 subs by the end of this month.
That is a fantastic goal. I was going to ask you backstage what you thought would be a good goal, but you know what? Let's do that. 500 subs. I wasn't expecting to get that for about a year. So if we get to 500 subs, I'm going to do something big. I'm going to do something very big if we can get to 500 subs by the end of the month. Conor, how you doing, my man?
Yeah, no, I'm all good. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm looking forward to a bit of football coming back. I've been really enjoying the European football. It's been really, really good. But a bit worrying on the Man City side of things. So, but we'll probably get onto that another time. But I do editing work. I'm an editor, freelance. I'm obviously doing work for TJ. I'm doing all his thumbnails and backdrops and all that. So my Instagram is probably below my name when that goes. Yeah, so it's CMO editing. And if you need any editing for your social media pages or your YouTubes, please feel free to give me a message. I've done work for loads of different Arsenal fans like Jez and TJ as well. So thanks for having me on, TJ.
Of course, Conor.
I'm sorry, with the best intro on YouTube.
Yeah. I have the second best intro on YouTube. Yeah. Just like I'm the second most electrifying man on YouTube to Prince Fuad. I'm okay. I'm okay finishing second. That gets you into the Champions League. Darren.
Good evening.
Welcome to the show. First time on.
Making my debut, Darren Sullivan 49 at Insta. I am a bit of a traveller in a sense that I haven't got a YouTube channel. I'm in the travelling fraternity. I like jumping on people's shows and saying it as it is, really. So looking forward to the last 9 games of the season. Won't be holding back in any comments. If I say something and you don't like it, well, that's tough. And try and be real, everybody. Let's not try and pretend that we should all be liking people and liking everyone's comments. I was impressed with Gracie May's comments about Newcastle. I don't like Newcastle. That's the way to be. If you like everything, you're fake. So exactly. Let's be real. Let's say what we like and say what we don't like, and not feel like we're going to get shafted and ostracised and all the rest of it. So,
you know what? And that's the kind of thing we like on this channel. The only thing that I've always said is you can dislike something, you can disagree with somebody, but you always be respectful 100% of the time. And this crew are 3 of the most respectful individuals on YouTube, which is why I have them back all the time. So we got just to shout out a couple of people in the chat. We had Jamino in the cut every single time. Big up, Jamino. We have Luca AFC in the chat. Luca, how many times are you going to change your predictions this week? And then we have Fran, a.k.a. Golart. So add one of my merch items to give away if you fan. I would absolutely do that. I would absolutely do that, Fran. Let's do it. But let's get there first. Okay. First thing we're going to start off with. We got Arsenal visiting the London Stadium, West Ham United. The arch rivals of Ted Lasso, apparently, from what I can gather. I don't know. I don't really watch the show that much. But West Ham United, they're not that good. They just got absolutely manhandled 5-1 against Newcastle, who Gracie May dislikes. By the way, I dislike Man United and Spurs like you wouldn't believe. I just keep my mouth shut half the time because as soon as I open my mouth, we're gonna get killed. We'll get absolutely piped. So I'm just kind of keeping it on the down low until we win the championship. Then I'm going to be shameless. But Jez, how are you feeling going into this game at the London Stadium? I believe that's the 3 o'clock. Is it the 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock kickoff? Right?
Yes, it is.
2 o'clock, is it? I can't remember.
Yeah. 2 o'clock kickoff, London Stadium. What are you thinking?
What am I thinking, mate? I'm thinking we're going to go there and I'm going to say we're going to win 4-0. I think Arsenal currently, after our capitulation against Liverpool, I think the team are going to be big up for this one. And let's be honest, if our midfield is right, if he gets it right, then we'll steamroll them. Our front three are just way too strong for them. We've got a goalkeeper who is totally in form. Defence, we do leak the odd goal, but let's be fair. West Ham United, I think they're in 14th currently. They're not great, seriously. And I think the fact of the matter will be is that we'll just go there and if we start positively, strongly, get the early goal, get the second goal, they will just fall by the wayside. I mean, let's be fair. If Newcastle United can go there and win 5-1, yeah, I mean, no disrespect to Newcastle, Gracie, if you're watching. The fact of the matter is that we're a better team than Newcastle. Away from home, and I'm positive, man. We're going to go there and absolutely pipe them.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. The only thing that kind of worries me is Declan Rice. He's the only player of like real quality in there. And keep in mind, they just played their Europa Conference League, game against Ghent and drew 1-1. And they played a very strong lineup against Conference League fodder. And that's probably going to make Steve that's probably going to make Steve, who's in the chat, very, very angry that I'm ditching the Belgian team. But it's, I mean, if you can't win with Declan Rice and Danny Ings in your lineup over a Belgian team, you're not gonna beat first place Arsenal. It's just a fact. And Conor and I were talking about it in the Instagram chat earlier that I am going to be I'm actually down south doing a wedding 3 hours away, and I'm driving back at 5 a.m. to catch the 8 a.m. in my time kickoff. And if we lose to these guys, I am going to put out a video that will break the internet. I am going to StreamYard will probably like kick me off just from the blue streak cussing that I'm going to have going, but hopefully it won't come to that. Conor, how are you feeling?
On the positive note, on a positive note, we've got to be going to this stadium and absolutely whooping them. I'm going to go for a 3-0. I think we'll keep a clean sheet there. I like to think of West Ham this season as a team full of mistakes. Fabianski has been terrible this season. He had actually a quite good game against Fulham in the last Premier League game, but apart from that, he's been shocking. Their defence is woeful. I think one player to look out for is Kurt Zouma. I think he can definitely chip in, especially in set pieces, especially from corners, because he's a very tall guy. So definitely be out on the watch for him because he can get a good header in. But Apart from that, I mean, like you said, they played Ghent today. They put out their strongest team possible, and they only had 4 shots in total. I checked the stats; they had 4 shots in total. And
didn't their goal only come on a PK too?
Yeah,
or a pen?
So yeah, it's not great. It's not great, and they're really not good. And they've had a really poor season. And I'm very shocked that David Moyes hasn't been sacked already, because they are bad. They are very bad. And yeah, even with Declan Rice on the side, I don't really see a problem. Our midfield is better than theirs, our attack's better than theirs, and our defence is better than theirs. So in my opinion, with no disrespect towards them, because I do like West Ham, even though they are a London rival, it should be an easy 3 points. And yeah, I'm expecting no different performance. I hope we can go to West Ham and put in a good shift like we have this season. I don't want none of this. We're taking a hard result at Anfield. We're just getting back into it. No, we've got 9 games left. There's no excuses. We should be walking there, dominating that whole game and getting 3 points. I really don't want us to go there and make it hard for ourselves, because we shouldn't be. The West Ham are very poor this season. So yeah, we should be going there getting 3 points. I take Rob Holding still in the side. I don't think Saliba's back from injury yet, which is obviously a shame. But do you know what? To be fair to Rob Holding, he was all right. I know Darren loves Rob Holding.
He was. He was. I love Rob Holding.
He was. To be fair to him, he put in a decent performance against Liverpool. I thought he'd be worse, but he was all right. Definitely made some good tackles and headers. But no, I think we'll go there. It should be an easy 3 points. I will be very surprised if we go to if we do a reaction after the game and or a couple of days and it's a bad performance. So I'm expecting 9 out of 10s across the pitch, because West Ham are really bad. And yeah, so it should be an easy game in my opinion. Hopefully, touch wood.
Yep. Darren, is this a trap game?
I don't think it is. I'd love to see us go and win there about 5-1, to be quite honest, because I think we need the goal difference, because I think that's where this title could be heading eventually. Personally, I don't think we ever. Well, we've done them 5-1 with Sanchez a few seasons ago, but normally the score we have with West Ham is 2-1 away. We normally just manage to do the business against them, and I reckon 2 or 3-1 away win. I'm not really that scared of West Ham. I don't. They got Antonio. Is he fit still? He's up front. He's not having as good a season as he is last season. So I actually think what Arteta should be doing now, and this is a bit controversial, is we didn't beat Liverpool. And if we've got Rob Holding at the back against Man City away, I actually think Arteta needs to start thinking outside the box now, because we are weaker now. We're winning this title. It's not so nailed on. And I'd like to see him change things up a little bit. And not surprisingly, I would like to see him put Tierney at left back, and I'd like to see him put Zinchenko next to Mr. Partey. But not only that, I think he's got 2 games now, away at West Ham and at home to Southampton, which should be 3-pointers without a shadow of a doubt. I'd even think about sticking Trossard in behind Jesus instead of Odegaard, because a lot of the time we've been having discussions about, out of them 4 players who should be in the front 3, how about putting all 4 of them up front? And saying to Man City, hey, get some of that. How are you going to deal with Trossard in Odegaard's place and the other front 3 up front? Because Odegaard's let us down against Liverpool. I didn't see him do anything. So I'd be testing that out. And it is a bit of a gamble. I appreciate it is a bit of a gamble, because you could go and test that out against West Ham and come unstuck and get a draw. But this is something that should have been done and worked out a long, long time ago by Arteta. And I just think it's no good doing it against Man City and trying it out for that game. You've got to give these players a bit of time to adapt. And I just think, against West Ham away and Southampton home, this could be the time. Or if you ain't going to do it from the start, at least give it 60 minutes. If we go 2-3 up against West Ham at half time, throw people on and see how it works.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
And this is the best time to do it as well. Like, we've got Southampton as well. Like this, I completely agree with you, Darren. Like, these are 2 sides that are very poor. And I completely agree with you. This should probably be a time where we show the team like City that we can attack very well. Why shouldn't we play maybe a 4-2-4? Maybe put Trossard up front, with Jesus, because he can play there if he wants to. I mean, they can all rotate at the end of the day, and I definitely agree. We're coming up against two very poor sides, which in my opinion we should just be smashing out the park. Both clean sheets, in my opinion, because both attacks are very poor.
See, I've almost been scammed by Xhaka. I almost thought, oh look, this season he's packed it in. He knows how far he can go. But look what he's done on Sunday.
It's always the big games.
It's always the big games. And Odegaard as well. He's gone missing. He's not delivered. What's Odegaard brought to the table against Liverpool? Nothing.
Yeah.
Creative-wise, he brought nothing to the table. And that's my concern. And poor old Trossard, you see him on the bench. I think the bloke's brilliant. You look at him, he looks miserable on that bench. When the camera goes into his face, he looks pissed off. He looks, he looks like he's just been robbed. He looks depressed. And it's because he's not starting, which is good. It's what we want.
Yeah.
But the thing is, also, we have to take into consideration that this championship could come down to goal difference. So we've got to seriously bang some serious goals in against the teams like West Ham, no disrespect, and Southampton, teams that we could absolutely annihilate. And we've got to do this, because I don't want us to lose this Premier League on goal difference to Man City. And it's going to come down to the core. It's a must win on the weekend. It's a 6-point game to me, and the fact is that Southampton, we've got to absolutely take them apart. We know going to the Etihad is going to be a bloody tough ask, and at this point in time, we also have to say going up to Newcastle is going to be a tough ask. And I know Darren and Gracie, you'll be, fired up for that one because you hate Newcastle.
No, I don't mind Newcastle, Jez. They're all right, But...
Well, Gracie doesn't.
I see what she was saying, though. Jez. Like the way that Newcastle stunk the place out at at the Emirates earlier this season, the way they played, I absolutely that. When we were talking on your show yesterday, when we were talking on your show yesterday about it, when Gracie was giving her take, it literally made that feeling come back of frustration of watching Newcastle just absolutely stink it out against us in that draw. It was very frustrating to watch.
I agree with you. I agree. I get the understanding of it, but the fact of the matter is, we didn't play well that day. And
no, we didn't.
So you have to actually really look at ourselves and say, well, we are the better team. We were number one spot, and we couldn't get it over the line. Now, right. I'm not promoting Newcastle at all. What I was saying last night is it's a fabulous place to go. It's a fabulous city. The fans are immense, and it's a fun time. But their fan base is one of the best ever. But the fact is, that day at the Emirates, we just weren't the better team. And we walked away with our tails between our legs. And you have to respect that. And I understand the frustration. I was frustrated. I was annoyed. I was seriously annoyed. Much as I love our club, I have to say I do have a bit of an affinity with Newcastle. I do. I've been there. I love the ground. I love the city. I love the people. They're the most welcoming people in football. And it's fact. Plus, dare I say this, they've got the best scenery on a Saturday night in Newcastle. Seriously. When you see, I shouldn't say it, but when you see You
Come
see
on,
that?
Jez.
Did you just float off, Jez? What were you gonna say?
Well, when you see the young ladies walking around, there,
Oh boy!
I thought you was going to
Hey.
say. I thought you was going to say the Man of the North with the Shearer kit on it or something.
oh, no. Just, yeah, like
Nothing wrong.
You know, when I was a younger guy, I used to go up there, mate. I used to see freezing cold. I mean, like bitterly cold. And you see these young girls walking around, tottering around in their heels, skirts up to their bloody navels. And they're like, I'm thinking, what are these people made of? Seriously? You know, and that's not a sexist comment at all.
No, it's not. There's nothing wrong.
No,
There's
no,
nothing
no,
wrong
Jez.
with recognizing
You're just
attractive
making-
women in a certain town. Go ahead, Darren.
You're
sorry.
just making a point that it's cold weather and they don't really wear a lot considering the weather's cold, Jez. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even the blokes
Jez,
don't. Even the blokes.
Jez, you're just worried. You're just worried about them. That's all. You don't want anybody to catch a cold. And Mama Flossie is a Geordie. Okay, like we respect Geordies here. I mean, and even that fraud Strasbourg Steve is a Newcastle fan. He's not a fraud. I just like poking at him, and he's angry right now. He's on his stream like yelling at the Conference League game he's watching. It's very, very funny. But don't leave this stream and go over there. Just stay here. What? Smash the like while you're at it too. By the way, Oregon Gooner is in the cut. My co-host with the most. He is Oregon Gooner, the man, the myth, the legend. Okay, so Darren, what would your starting 11 be? Now that you mentioned that you want to put Trossard in the middle, what's your full starting 11?
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with Holding at the back because there's nothing else that Arteta has factored in for injuries, which is a crying shame. This could be the season where Holding costs us the title. So, and I'd probably go with Holding if there's no one else fit. I mean, the Polish lad, you could throw him in, but how many games has he played? So probably Holding over Kirill. Obviously, Saliba, I understand, is still not made a miraculous recovery. Will he be back for Man City? Who knows? He's not going to have long to get sort of match fit and get him back into the swing of it. So it looks like we're faced with Holding for the rest of the season. So Holding, Gabriel at the back, right back, you've got to go with Ben White. He goes down the right-hand side with Saka still. You can't dismantle them. And then, as I say, I'll probably start with Tierney at the back as left back. A little bit of a punishment for Zinchenko for letting us down at Anfield. But with a punishment comes a sort of consolation, if you like, or even an upgrade. Mm-hmm. Let's punish Xhaka, keep him out, drop him and say, look, maybe you just lost your cool a little bit there. Let's give you a little break. Put you on the bench, but then has he got it written in his contract? He has to start. I don't know.
Do you know what? I was actually going to point that out, Darren. Do you know what? I don't know what it is with Arteta. I don't know whether it's the fact that he's too worried that he's going to kick the pram if he doesn't start. There's something definitely within that.
Yeah.
Whether it's the
thing with Xhaka is right. The problem with him is he is capable of putting a peach of a pass through. He likes to get involved and have it, and that's good. But look what he did on Sunday. He's just lost us 2 points like that against Liverpool. And, you know, that's one game in a season that he's lost it. And that could be the difference between success and failure. Yeah. So people go on about how great and ruthless Arteta is. He ain't that ruthless, is he? Because everyone else can see it apart from him. Yeah. So I would put Zinchenko next to Partey in that too. And then I'd put Odegaard out. I don't care if he's a captain. I'd put him out. I'd put him on the bench, and I'd put Trossard behind Jesus up front, and then I'd stick Martinelli and Saka out wide, and I'd say, right, off you go, lads. It's almost like, let's say, right, Xhaka and Odegaard got injured. What would we do then? Who would we play? Jorginho for me is too lightweight. He's a sub, never starting. For me, that's an attacking team. It's a fresh outlook. It's, come on, this is your chance now. Get out there, prove yourself. show me you can slap West Ham 5 and 6. Do that for me. You'll be in again at Southampton. Brush Southampton aside, and this might be the starting 11 for Man City. People might say Trossard can't tackle back like Odegaard, but I've seen him do it. I've been quite impressed with him going both ways in the games that he's played, Trossard. When you watch him play, he's good going forward and he kicks back, tracks and tackles as well. It's a gamble at the end of the day. It is a gamble. Maybe it's a complete load of bullshit and it won't work and you've got to play safety. But from where I'm sitting, I don't see too much confidence about us going to Man City and Newcastle away at the moment. And it just might be an alternative. It might work. You know, sometimes as a football manager, I think you have got to take these risks and these gambles. And, you know, Arteta seems to want to, in all these games, he seems to want to not make subs till 80 minutes, till it's too late. You know, it's... So
I agree, Darren. I think in this, this game coming up at the weekend at the London Stadium is an ideal opportunity to go exactly down the road you're talking about, because I think it's time for Mikel Arteta to say, well, actually, I can make a different type lineup of the team and put a different perspective on the game. I mean, his idiotic substitution of Odegaard for Kiwa, who is totally inexperienced in the Premier League. He's not match ready in the Premier League. He's never started for Arsenal. Yet he puts a central defender in midfield because purely and simply Arteta was panicking. He didn't know what to do.
No, I didn't know what to do.
Liverpool were coming on us, and we were on the back foot and basically totally being battered. And he makes a stupid substitution like that way too late in the game. Brings on Tierney in like, what was it, 85th minute? Yeah. And like, what's the point now?
Do you know what that shows, Jez? Especially when he brought Kivior on. Because remember they brought on Firmino for Fabinho, which shows Klopp's trying to go for something here. He wants to get 3 points if he can. And the substitution of... And Arteta should know this, man, because how many times has he gone to Anfield and as a manager? Putting on a sub like Kivior for Odegaard is showing that you're scared. And it will look, and that will show to the Liverpool manager, team, and players that they're shitting themselves here. Let's actually go and get something here. I don't know why he didn't bring on Smith Rowe. I don't even know why he didn't even bring on Jorginho. You know, I don't understand why you have two players on that bench who have been to Anfield before in the midfield role. But I don't think he gave a response to why he actually done it. Why would you bring on someone who has never been to Anfield, who's just signed for the club, who's just coming from Italy, he doesn't know what it's all about? It just didn't make sense.
They'll never ask that. They'll never ask that question, though.
Yeah, because they're too scared, aren't they? Yeah,
because they're too scared, and they'll. Yeah. So
just
know, it's all a PR thing.
It's just it'll be interesting to see if Arteta does the same sort of thing against Man City, because I look at it and I think he only seems to do these drastic things when it's the top 6 or the top 4. You know, especially when we had Man United away. And he'd done the same with Man City when we played them twice. It's always these rash decisions, and it's always the ones that you don't normally see us doing during games, especially when it was the Man City 3-1 this season. We started playing out the back, and we've never done that this season, especially as like a main tactic. And it always seems like the pressure gets to Arteta, and the rookiness as a manager gets to him, and he sort of panics and thinks, shit, what do I do? Do I just go defensive and just save it? And that's what worries me about going to the Etihad. I think, is Mikel's inexperience as a first-team manager going to really get to him, especially when you're going up against Pep? And he hasn't beaten Pep yet, I believe, as Arsenal manager, you know. So, and it's stuff like that then I look at it, and not to be a negative here, but it makes you think we're going to bottle this, you know. So I just hope to God he doesn't do the same thing against City. Like, you've just had all these chances, man. And I'm sorry, whoever looks at it at the end of the season and we don't get this league title, if you generally see this manager as our future, I'm sorry. But he's not. He's not.
Well,
but
go ahead, Jess.
You can always tell, Conor, when Arteta is bamboozled, because He's like this, and he's sucking his like that.
Yeah.
And you can see he's like almost trying to invert himself into like what I do.
Trying to turtle into the shirt.
Sorry, quickly, Jamino, tell a lie. He did beat Pep in the FA Cup, but then again, not too sure about that. Well, to be fair, he did beat them then, but
yeah,
either way, I don't see it happening this time.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah,
me neither. But I have a question for you, and maybe this is like a ignorant American question, but those are kind of my favorite ones. At what point do you stop being a rookie manager? At what point are you done considered being a rookie?
When you win a major title.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's never gonna be done being a rookie then, because here, if you're done being a rookie after the first couple of seasons, regardless of the result. I think he's still learning. Obviously, this is his first job, and he's doing an incredible job by standards. But if he does bottle it, he needs to leave. Everybody needs to leave.
I think Arteta will have a good career in managerial wise, because he's done some stupid things. And he's led us to really poor seasons. We can't deny that. But especially this season, as his third season on the job, he's done stuff well. He has made mistakes. Don't get me wrong. We all know that. Yeah. I do think, because I don't hate Arteta. I don't have any hatred towards him.
I don't think any of us hate him.
Well, yeah, he can piss us off, because excuse my language, but he can annoy us with stupid mistakes he makes. But every manager does that, and not that I still agree with the fact if he doesn't win this title, he should go, because it's not the standards of Arsenal Football Club. But it doesn't stop him from being a decent manager in the future. I think he can become a decent manager. Whether it's with us, I don't know. But hopefully he starts his managerial career off well and wins us a title. But if he doesn't, sorry, Mikel, you're out the back door, mate. And I'd love Simeone as a replacement, by the way. Just a shout. I'd love Simeone. I think he'd be a great trainer.
The thing is with Arteta is he was a young person coming into a job that he was never qualified to do.
Yeah.
And when people take people on that haven't got any experience as a gamble and everything else, that person feels a loyalty to the bosses. So what Arteta's going to do when he's in this job, he's not going to argue. He's not like Conte at Tottenham. I can imagine Conte will be arguing with the directors and everything. And look what he did. He come out and unloaded in the press conference. You'll never see Arteta do that, because he will always be indebted to them because they gave him a massive chance. So therefore, he will be a yes man when he's in the club. I've got massive respect for Kevin Keegan. He walked away from the England job when it all come on top for him. He just said, look, the fans have got me this job and they got me the sack. They booed him at Wembley. And he just said, right, I'm off, I'm resigning, because he felt like he couldn't take them any further than he could. Now, Arteta is definitely one of these people that is never going to give up, and you've got to give him a bit of credit for that, and he wants to win, and I get all that. But I just think he's always going to be a yes man, which is a little bit dangerous, because is he fighting for resources? Is he shouting at the board when we're signing Jorginho in the transfer window, and not someone a bit more substantial? That's my concern. And unfortunately, I don't hate Arteta, but I certainly don't think I'll ever like him as a person, manager. And if we do win the league, it won't be my favourite league title win, let's put it that way, compared to all the other league titles I've seen us win. And that's just my own opinion. I can't help that. I've got a personal thing against Arteta. I don't particularly like the bloke. I think he is arrogant. He might go on and win a couple of Champions Leagues, a couple of leagues in the next 10, 15 years. Who knows? But I'm still very pessimistic for us winning the league this season. I don't think we're going to do it, because we have got these tough fixtures coming up. We all know what the two tough games are coming up, and that will be the difference between success and failure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. The comments are absolutely blowing up right now. Man United have bottled it. Had a 2-0 lead over Sevilla and collapsed.
Well, not only that, Varane and Martinez are both out with injuries. They came off of injuries, so that's going to be massive. So they've now got Maguire and Lindelof back in centre back.
I was wondering.
Yeah, unless they play Luke Shaw at centre back, but that is just. I feel like they could get knocked out of the top four. now because
you know, and long may it continue. I never want to see anybody get injured, but long may it can. When Man United are winning or drawing games that they should win against, Sevilla, who I think is in like 17th place in the Liga.
We smashed them 5-0. And they're like it's just it's a classic thing of United. I think United take a lot. I don't like to compare United to us, but sometimes when it comes to the final straw and the end stick, especially in recent times, we've been very alike. I know they've won the Carabao Cup this season, but
yeah,
I don't like to talk about ifs and buts, but if it does come to the point where we do lose out on this league title, I just look at it back on the fact it's just classic Arsenal, isn't it? And I hate to say it's classic. I mean, in recent times, because it just seems like whenever, especially even last season when we were trying to go for top 4, it's when I say recent, I mean in the last 5 years.
But sometimes, Conor, classic Arsenal is we do our best when we're up against it. If we were chasing, do you know what? I think it would work better for us if we were 3 points behind Man City when we played them than we are if we're 3 points above them. Because I think the pressure would be off, right? Nobody would be expecting us to win the league anymore. Nobody expecting us to beat Man City anymore. We bottle pressure every time. Bottle pressure. Yeah. Every time there's expectation against a big team, we bottle it. But if we go there and think Arsenal can get smashed, we relax and sometimes we pull it off.
Yeah, 100%. No, the precious things. Yeah, pressure. We're awful. I mean, look at the Sporting game. I think definitely that was a knocked on pressure of that. We've got to win. We want to win this as well, and we just completely bottled it. And that's why I'm worried about Man City again. I feel like there's going to be so much hype. Well, there obviously is because it's the two title contenders facing off against each other. But you look at this season, and whenever it has been City, we've looked all right the first 10 minutes, but then we just get thrown in the mud and we sort of just give up. And and it's stuff like when I feel like if we go into that City game with the same starting 11 that we rock with, especially with Zinchenko at left back, it makes me think that Arteta's not even trying. Why don't you've seen in previous games? But we'll wait and see for the City game. But if we've all seen in previous games that Zinchenko doesn't work as a left back.
No.
And I'm sorry, but if he walks into that game with his chest held high and puts Zinchenko starting at left back, you're a mug, and it's clear and obvious. Well, you are, because I'm sorry, we've played them twice this season with the same starting 11, and it hasn't worked both times. So why are you going to now walk into them again at the Etihad and do the same thing? I think all of us would start, and it's not just an agenda thing, it's just straight facts. We'd start Tierney at left back and we put Zinchenko in that midfield role because it'd be a better team, Yeah. And unfortunately, unless Arteta has a change of mind overnight, I don't see that being the case. And I see him starting the same team again and we'll get destroyed again. And I don't like to talk negative. I don't like to say we'll lose.
No, these are facts.
Yeah, it's just facts.
These are facts.
So it is what it is. And we could get a draw. We could. But I don't see it, especially if the way we've played against them this season. And also their form recently has been fantastic, So let's just see if we'll learn from his mistakes. But in what we've seen from him before, I don't think he will.
I'm still going on all these different channels. Sorry, Jess. I'm going on all these different channels with Arsenal fans on there. I'm not going to name names or anything like that. Big Sixpence, Egal. These freaking people. I'm not saying Igal said this, but it is being said in the chats and amongst different commentators that it's likely that City will drop points. Why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about this? Focus on us.
Yeah.
They are not going to drop points. I hate to play spoiler alert for you. They're not going to drop points. That team is a machine. It's a machine, and it is coming. It is on our tail, getting ready to run us over. It is a runaway train. Okay, so yeah, all these people that are I'm not gonna. It's not even top Gooners. It's Arsenal fans in general being like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. They'll drop points. No, they won't. No, they won't.
You can't rely on it. It's possible, but you can't rely on it.
No. So I keep saying this over and over and over again. Keep our eye on the ball. Don't worry about what City are going to do, because City are going to do what they're going to do. Focus on West Ham. Focus on Southampton. Really focus on Man City. And
will be at the end of the day. You know, if it's the Premier League, anything can happen. I'm not taking that point away from you, TJ. In my opinion, with City's form, I don't see them losing points. But you know that they've. Wouldn't it just be ideal? And it's my local club as well. Brentford, their final game of the season, and Brentford actually went to the Etihad and did beat them. And just I'm not predicting anything, no, because I'll just start getting my mind on it.
I would. So here's how, and this is maybe just how I approach sports in a certain way. I approach watching sports in a different way than a lot of other people do. Is that I immediately go pessimistic. That way, I'm never disappointed.
Yeah.
It's probably not the most healthy way to go about it, but that's how I'm going about this season. If we do win, though, I will be, you'll be able to see the smoke from Kansas City all the way in London and all the way in Ireland. So sorry, Jez, I interrupted you earlier. Were you going to make a point?
No, I can't remember now. It doesn't matter. It's pretty insignificant, but the fact is, I totally agree. I mean, anybody who hasn't watched the show I did with TJ and the other night on Sunday, match review, there was people in there like still with their blinkers on. That one particular person was saying Arteta's the best manager we've had in 2 decades. Really? We had a certain manager who actually won the Premier League going unbeaten for a whole season, going unbeaten for 49 games. And
where do they get these people from?
These people,
They got to be bots or something. That's ridiculous.
I think they're just wind-up merchants. I think they just try to get a reaction.
They are trolls. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if he wins the Premier League, he needs to have a statue. Well, I'm sorry about that. A certain manager called George Graham should have a statue before this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, I mean, I just don't get this. But getting back, I totally agree with what you've all just said.
Yeah.
We can't focus on Man City losing points. If we rely on that, then you're not going to win. It's all about Arsenal win.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's fact. 9 games, win. Win those games. Draw maybe one. Yeah. And you've won the Premier League. Fact. End of story.
Ooh.
Don't rely on other teams. You can't rely on other teams.
Nope.
It's like any sport. Formula One. If you, I like Formula One. I don't watch a lot of it nowadays, but I do like it.
Yeah.
If you're in second spot, you can't rely on the guy in front of you, his engine blowing up.
No.
You've actually got to get past him and win the sodding race. You can't rely on his wheel coming off or having a puncture or whatever. You've got to get past him. And it's the same in any elite sport. You have to be number one, focused, and win. End of story. My rant over.
No, that's just, this needs to be reiterated, I think, across all platforms and all shows on this particular platform, is that in order to be considered great, especially in elite sport, is you have to win. You have to win trophies. You have to win hardware. That is why you're never going to hear, you're never going to think of, Tottenham Hotspur. They're a great team. You're never going to think of them in a glorified sense, unless you were alive in 1960, whenever it was, they last won. So last won a league title. So yeah. Okay. Hold on. I just got really distracted by this comment. Slow motion with the potion. Snoop Dogg is here. Snoop Doggy Dog. Snoop Dogg. I need some of that. I need some of that gin and juice, my friend. Welcome to the chat. Smash a like. So I did want to go back to a comment that BX Gunner put a couple of minutes ago. Hopefully Jesus continues his scoring run, which he should. I predicted this by the way, I predicted this. He is hitting a purple patch of form that is going to get us over the top, I think. Gabriel Jesus finishes his chances. And I dropped the stat on your stream yesterday, Jez, but we outshot West Ham on the 26th, 15, I believe it was like to 7.
Yeah.
15 shots. And I believe 5 or 6 of them were on target. You know who was in the middle during that game?
Jesus.
No.
Eddie
Nketiah.
Oh, really?
I think Jesus finishes those chances that Nketiah didn't. Obviously, he had the miss. He had the miss at the side post against Liverpool. Yeah, I know that. But
he did get a goal, TJ. He did get a goal.
And Nketiah
I'm not a massive Eddie Nketiah supporter.
Nketiah would have missed it. He did get a goal, but how many times do we have to see him miss? Did he get the goals against Everton? That's all I'm going to say. Sorry. I'm always going back to that. but yeah, I'm very, very confident with Gabriel Jesus at center forward. I don't think bringing him over from City was.
Yeah, I don't think the attack is what we've got to be worried about. It's the defense. And like, I'll never forget when we played City. I think it was it last season? Or it might have been 2 seasons ago, where we lost 5-0 at the Etihad, and we had 5 at the back, and we had Rob Holding in the back line with Kolasinac, and I want to say Mustafi. No, it was David Luiz. Was it David Luiz or Mustafi? Anyway,
ugly.
With history, I'm really hoping Saliba's back in the next 2 weeks.
That game was one of my lowest points as an Arsenal fan. I watched it in the pub.
Yeah.
And we were 3 or 4 down at half time, and I've never felt so depressed.
Yeah, and that was 3 games on the trot, and we were 20.
And I include seeing us get beat in the Cup Winners' Cup by a lobbed goal in the last minute, right? That weren't a good day at the office. Like I say, that 5-0 away at Man City, the 6-0 against Chelsea, it's just been a depressing time for a number of years now, you know.
Yeah, Jaminho got it right. Yeah, 5-0 last season. We had Cedric, Chambers, Holding, Kolasinac, and Tierney. Now I know we have a better defense in my opinion, especially this season. I'm just worried about Holding.
Those names scare me.
Grealish,
sorry,
and I hate to say it, I don't really rate Jack Grealish, especially with the price tag that they bought him for. But he's been fantastic recently.
Yes.
He's been so good, and he is one to worry about.
He's picking it up now. Grealish.
Yeah, and again, and I hate to say it, but Rob Holding is preferably our backup. You know, he's not our main. We want our first choice there, and I just hope to God that Saliba's available, because that's another weakness that they're. You know, and it's a shame to. I really do hate to think of what Rob Holding thinks. Like a lot of people do doubt him. Like I would hate to be in that situation, but at the end of the day, we have a better centre back ahead of you. But teams are going to look at that Rob Holding at right centre back, and they're going to exploit it.
Yeah,
because they know he's got the mistake in him. He knows they know that he hasn't played a lot of Premier League games this season. You know, I think Terry said it the other day on the Football Terrace. You know, Holding's the type of guy that Arteta will bring on in the last 10 minutes just to solidify the defence. You know, he's not really a player that we would start for 90 minutes. And this is now going to be a thing where teams that we're going to face, whether they're a West Ham or a Southampton, whoever, they're going to be like, right, he's a weak spot, and we'll exploit that. You know, so that's what I'm worried about with Man City. That's why I'm praying that Saliba will be back, because God, he's a player we need. We need that Gabriel and Saliba partnership. You know, they're the reason, one of the reasons why we're where we're at this season. You know, and especially if we want to keep clean sheets. You know, it's the one thing I'm worried about. But you know, if we've got someone like Ramsdale, if he puts out performances like he did against Liverpool for the rest of the season, not saying he hasn't, like he's been fantastic this season.
Yeah,
but, you know, stuff like that is the stuff where you want to be. You think, yeah, all right, we're confident in that area. It's just I really, really want Saliba back, really bad, really bad. You know, especially for that City game. You know, so it's stuff to worry about. But
yeah, and I'm not worried. I'm not so much worried about like a Rob Holding tax against Southampton or West Ham. Like if we leak a goal against West Ham, it is what it is, right? But we're going to put 4 or 5 on him, or we should. But yeah, holding in the middle against Holland. We've already seen that episode, and I don't really want to see a rerun. So yeah, Saka, $200 million player for sure. I agree, Snoop Dogg. I agree.
I saw today, quick. I know it's a bit off topic. Chelsea have apparently renewed Enzo Fernandez's contract to 2032, and I'm just thinking they shouldn't even be allowed to do that. How are you extending a player's contract by 9 years? Like I don't get that. Why is
Todd Bowley?
But it's just ridiculous. It shouldn't even be allowed. It should be 5 years maximum. Like how have they done that? You know, I think it's ridiculous, and it's Chelsea that are doing it. It's everything to the money, to the wages, to the contract.
Maybe this bloke don't know what he's doing, because that's a long time to be taking a gamble with injuries with players. You know,
100%.
Guys, real quick point. It's Bowley managing Chelsea like he manages the Dodgers. I've made this point a couple of times. Is that 9-year contracts in baseball are not an uncommon thing, because it's not a contact sport like football is. And he is treating he's treating Chelsea exactly like the LA Dodgers. And we should be here for it, guys. Do it. Go for it. Yeah. So that way, when you have to eat those contracts and you can't get rid of these players on these long-term deals, they're absolutely screwed.
Yeah, because apart from the money side of things, I think that's the only thing that Chelsea fans are happy with, is the fact that he's spending money. You know, apart from that, he done an interview the other day. He was walking out of a restaurant. The guy asked him, "What do you think the score's going to be against Real?" He said 3-0 Chelsea. I don't know if you've all seen it. He's like, I think it's going to be 3-0 to Chelsea. And I'm thinking, why are you doing that? You very rarely see owners speaking on behalf of the club. Very rarely when it comes to Premier League sides, especially the top tier, top clubs. And I'm just thinking, you're going to make yourself look like a right prat, which he did, because they lost 2-0 with a red card. You know, if you're going to be going out and you just say no comment, you just walk off. You say, "Oh yeah, I'm enjoying my time at the club. I'm enjoying running it," but you don't give score predictions, especially when in my opinion, Chelsea didn't have a chance in that game.
No,
but you don't go out and say 3-0 like Snoop Dogg. You don't say, "Yeah, Chelsea going to win 3-0." I'm that confidently. I just say no, move on. Because it's embarrassing as well. It's embarrassing for Chelsea, you know. And I guarantee you, as soon as it gets to summer, Chelsea will spend a bit of money. They'll buy the next odd player for 100 million. I guarantee it. Do you know? I wouldn't be surprised if Jude Bellingham does end up going to Chelsea. I think the rumours are pretty rubbish. I think if they spend the money, which they probably will, you know, as long as Bowley's spending money, Chelsea fans won't care. In my opinion, they won't. You know, but it is what it is. I just want to put that point across.
Yeah. Hey, no, it's true. I mean, and you bring back Frank Lampard to do a job and to try to keep you out of the lower end of the table.
Also, sorry, TJ, I feel like I'm taking over your show here. So I got one more question for everyone.
Go.
Matthew Flamini. Yeah, Flamini. Can't remember how you pronounce it. Came out today and said if the Cronkies put up Arsenal for sale, he would buy Arsenal. He's got a net worth of 10 billion, which I think is just a little bit more than the Cronkies. Do you guys think that would be a good move if that was to happen? If the Cronkies were to ever put Arsenal up for sale? Because he said Flamini said if they'd done that, he'd be in there like no tomorrow. He'd be straight into it with a bid. What do you guys think with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. His family have a net worth, as you say, because they are winemakers in France. They are very, very, very established winemaking company, have been for decades. And the fact of his love for Arsenal as a player and a very distinguished player at the time, I take it all day long, man, because no disrespect to the Cronkies, no disrespect to American owners. I just don't think American owners understand the passion of football in Britain. I'm sorry, I don't get it. And I think a lot of American owners treat it as basically a way to earn money. It's a cash cow. And if I owned a football club, right, okay, let's put it this way. Let's turn the table. If I owned an American football team, let's say the Dallas Cowboys, That's the only game I've ever been to in my life. If I owned them, I would know exactly when they're playing, and I would be there watching them play week in, week out. Because if I'm the owner, I want to see progress. I want to be talking to the people involved in the club. I want to be talking to the players. I want to be talking or doing conferences with the fan base, which clearly the Cronkies don't do. I doubt very much whether Josh Kroenke knows when Arsenal play the next game. I mean, he's never at a game. So I'm sorry, it doesn't work for me. It's the same with the Glaziers and these people. It's money, money, money. So yeah, Conor, yes. Matthew Flamini, I'd take him all day long, man, because he's passionate about the club. He achieved success at the club, and yeah, he would show the love that he's got for that club, like we had back in time, back in history, a different time of football, but we had certain members of the board that absolutely loved the club and showed their desire for ambition to win, and that's what you need from your owners.
Darren, what do you think?
Well, I agree with Jez. I think Flamini coming into Buy would be brilliant. He's wore the shirt. He's got an affinity with the club, and as well as him making a bit of money out of it as well, he would take the delight in Arsenal being successful. He would turn up to all the games. Unfortunately, the Cronkies are just landlords. Arsenal is real estate to them, and if anyone's a landlord watching this show, you know how it works. You sell a property, you're getting hit with tax, capital gains tax, whatever, yeah? They ain't going to sell. This is a printing machine. They make millions every game. There's no way on earth they are going to sell this club because it's too lucrative for them. And they got lots of other... Arsenal's just one of their properties in the world that they're using to get an income from. And they don't attend the games. So therefore, they're not going to have the passion. They're not going to have the genuine. A lot of people, when they want to start a business, you get told, don't do anything you're not passionate about because it won't work. If you're geared towards a certain industry and you think, I'm not going to make it, I'll go over there and do this, and I don't really know a lot about that, it's probably not going to happen for you because it's not getting you out of bed in the morning. Arsenal Football Club is not getting Stan or Josh on a plane over to London every Saturday and in midweek. It's not doing it. End of.
Well, a lot, and I'll kind of answer the question just because, like I've said a couple of times, I've been under the ilk of the Cronkies for about 20 years with my sports fandom through the Colorado Avalanche. It was actually kind of funny. What was it? It was during this last year's playoff run. Mikel Arteta was actually at Ball Arena in Denver watching the game with Josh. So he flies Arteta out to the U.S. It's not the other way around.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah,
probably, Darren.
Yeah, probably. It's not the other way around. And I was just like, I was sitting there just being like, you better be talking about transfers. You better be talking about transfers. He wasn't probably. It was probably a new contract. That being said, the landlord comparison is actually very, very accurate. The Cronkies own 6 or 7 sports franchises: Colorado Rapids, Colorado Mammoth, Colorado Avalanche, LA Rams, Denver Nuggets.
They love Colorado, don't they? They love Colorado.
They love Colorado. I mean, I can't say a bad word about Colorado, but they love it. And they see property and they try to increase the value of that property. So, thus they built that huge $2 billion SoFi Stadium out in LA, and they moved the Rams out of St. Louis there. And now it's a cash cow too. They won 1 championship with the Rams, and then the team fell apart and they don't care anymore. So like it's one of those things that I do get scared about with regards to Arsenal, is that like once we win this title, what are Josh and Stan going to realize that it doesn't end there, right? It doesn't end there. We need our ambitions only go up now. We got to win the Champions League next, and we have to bring in the players to do it. So I whether or not I don't know enough about Flamini to comment accurately. If Jez says he would bring more passion and he would bring more knowledge to ownership of the football club, I say go for it. Absolutely. Yeah. Sell it now. Oregon Goon says SoFi Stadium is absolutely fantastic. State-of-the-art stadium. Yeah, I mean, I was in LA when it was getting built right before the pandemic hit. It is massive. It's incredible.
They definitely you can clearly obviously see, and it's clear as day, that they obviously put more money into their American teams than they do Arsenal. I don't even know if they're getting they were talking. I remember they were talking about when I went to the preseason game, they were getting a new TV fitted, one for the scores and the team lineups in the top left of the stadium. And then we see the other day that they got that leaking thing, the leaking roof. I'm thinking, clear and evident,
that was embarrassing.
Clear and evident that these guys aren't doing enough, and it's quite hilarious how. Don't know if you guys, some of you, I think, Darren, did you any of you watch the documentary about Arsenal on Amazon?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
It's quite funny how Josh was there for most of it, and as soon as that thing was over and this season started, haven't seen him once.
No, I did an interview.
we won't talk about Stan, because Stan
did an interview with Jeff Shreves where he got caught out, and when he got asked where would he play on the pitch, and he didn't know.
He didn't know where to. Yeah.
You know what? In that interview, I actually listened to Josh, and I thought, wow, you are a sharp business bloke.
Yeah.
You've got to give him it. I don't even like that. Yeah. He definitely knows what he's doing with business and stuff. He's sharp as a razor. Yeah.
They're business people. I mean, let's get it right. You don't become multi-billionaires for no reason. I mean, they're sharp as sharks, but that doesn't mean anything to me as an Arsenal supporter. It means nothing.
No.
What I want is to see an ownership that actually has passion for the club. And once back in time, we had that with the likes of David Dean and people like that would do anything for the club, and they did the most amazing deals under the radar, got players in that back in time never heard of. I remember when we signed Thierry Henry, and I was like, who the hell's this guy? Who is he?
Yeah.
And when we got Arsene Wenger, and I'm thinking, well, who's this bloke then? I mean, George Graham, awesome, know who he is. And then we had in Bruce Riot as a temporary. And then all of a sudden this bloke rocks up from Japan. I'm thinking, what? And then, it proved me wrong. Fair play. And I loved it. Absolutely loved every minute. But what I don't get from the Cronkies is the passion and the love for the club. I don't see any of that. I don't see Josh Kroenke turning up, walking down Hornsey Road, right? I don't see him walking down the Hornsey Road to the Emirates with an Arsenal scarf around his neck. Never seen that. Never seen that.
Probably doesn't know what that is, Jess.
Pardon?
Probably doesn't know what Hornsey Road is.
No, he wouldn't. But I can tell you, I used to watch David Dean walk down Avenel Road, walking into the East Stand entrance, having a chat with the fans outside, and he always had a scarf on. Always.
It shows, doesn't it?
And he would walk in, he'd walk down that road, and at match day, it would be absolutely bloody rammed with fans walking to the East Stand, fans walking up to the North Bank, and he'd say, hi, and he'd shake hands with people, he'd say hello, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and he'd get to the entrance of the East Stand, and he'd get up there, the concierge would welcome him in, and he'd just wave, give a thumbs up, and in he'd go. Totally,
Yeah.
I know it's different days. I know things have changed now. It's all different. But that was a man with passion for the club.
Yeah.
I would
100%.
never, ever expect to see Josh Kroenke walk down, go into the 9 pins, have a pint. They always
Not just Jez, not just that. He'd get absolutely mullered. He'd get destroyed, and not in a horrible, not in a way he'd get beaten up, but he would just get why have you not spent this? Why have you not spent that? He's too worried to do that. And I remember, I think it was when I don't want to keep on going, so I've been over an hour.
Okay. Go ahead.
I remember when the Kroenke out stuff really kicked in, and he joined a Arsenal. What was it? It was like an Arsenal community meeting thing. I can't remember what it was. It was a fans forum. And he was like, "Oh, I want to do this with the club. I want to be involved more with the club." He done one fans forum, which was that one when all the protests were going on. Never returned.
No.
I want to be more involved with the fans. Yeah. Never returned. He's full of lies. And the problem is, and I know we've been a bit blindsided because we have been really performing very well in the league this season, but we can't take away from the fact that these guys really shouldn't be here. And I know we don't forget that, but I think if we're having a bit more of a poor season, it would be more shown. But I think our football has shown that we're performing well. Don't get me wrong; they've put money in. You know, we've spent, especially in transfers. We haven't, majority of the time we haven't spent it right, but they've put money in. But doesn't take away the fact that they're not passionate about the club. You know?
But you say they've put money in, but what they do is they put probably 80-90% in. But when they need to go that little bit extra and put a little bit of dust on the transfer fee.
Yeah,
they won't do it.
Well, we've seen it before, Darren. We've seen it before with transfers.
You saw it with Caicedo. You saw it with Mudryk. Thank God that didn't happen. Yeah. But still, you still saw it.
I actually don't agree with that comment. I'm sorry, guys. I don't believe they put any money in for transfers. I don't believe that because I think Arsenal are such a self-sustainable model. We make so much money. I mean, you guys know. I mean, you've been to the Emirates. You get ripped off at every single corner.
It's ridiculous.
Crap, and you pay a premium. Drinks are extortionate. Everything is so expensive. The stadium at the moment looks a bloody mess because it hasn't been kept up. I don't believe they put any money in. I think if look, anybody watching this, anybody can go and look at Company's House. You can go and look at the reserve bank accounts. There's never, ever any less in one bank account of 200 million. It never goes below that because that is their self-sustaining backup reserve account. The other accounts is what they use. And you look at the money that is raked in every single year. That is where they pay out, and they won't. If they've got 200 million, right, for transfers in the summer this year. Yeah, let's just say that. That's all they'll spend. Now, they aren't going to dip in their pockets and say, "Oh, right, well, so we want this player. So this extra player is 90 million." They won't do it because their belief is these are serious businessmen worth billions upon billions and billions, and they will say, and they've done that because they're very, very, very clever men, and they will just say, "Right, that's what you got. You've got 150 million this summer, Arteta. That's what you got to spend."
I still blame him for Edu. Say what you want, and that's a great, and Jez, your point is spot on. Like that's totally like, there's no refuting what you just said. What my big issue with the Kroenkes is Edu. It's who they have in charge there. Like, I'm okay with him having with Josh and Stan being hands off. They've done a very, very good job with their sports franchises, putting experienced people in as team presidents, vice presidents, general managers, things like that. With Arsenal, the sporting director position has just been a abysmal.
It's not even that. It's Vinay.
Abysmal.
It's
Yeah.
what's his name? Richard Garland.
Yeah.
Like all of them. They're just. I watched them. Again, I'll reiterate to that documentary we done on Amazon. I remember that Aubameyang thing, and they were all sat there. It was all of them. It was the three of them: Richard, Vinay, and Edu. And another guy walks in and says, "Oh, you know, Aubameyang, he's off to Spain," and he just looked clueless. And don't get me wrong, like this summer they made some all right moves. You know, Jesus and Zinchenko, probably it. You know, but we can't agree to the fact that again, Edu's pretty inexperienced. Didn't he just work with the Brazil team and that was it, right?
Yeah,
he worked with the Brazil national team. And in my opinion, that's not experience. You know, a national team is so different to a Premier League side. Not just any team; it's a Premier League top 3 best English team. I know it's your old club, I get that. But, you know, it's stuff like that where you think, and even that with Vinay, it was just so wrong. And even before that, I can't remember his name. He was the small fella, the Italian guy. And then we had, again, I'm really terrible with names. Your man who's that's it, Gazidis. And then who's the one that went off to AC Milan? Bold fella. Was it Ivan? Yeah, was it Ivan Gazidis? Yeah.
Gazidis, and you had Mislintat or something.
Yeah. But it's anyway. My point was, it's always been terrible. It's always been poor. You know, like in my time anyway. You know, so unless the only way I could see something like that get changed is something like Flamini coming in. You know, it's a proper person who would be loyal to the club. I'm not saying Eddie doesn't love the club. Eddie obviously loves the club. It's not a thing if he hates it. You know, he's just probably not the right appointment for it. But I think Flamini would come in and really build a good foundation around this club, and I think it could be competing for titles and always be at the top for years. You know, I think it's just it all stems from the top. You know, I don't want to talk negative because we have had a great season. You know, we'll see where it goes, but it's just stuff like this where you think that's it. Gazidis, he went to AC Milan. It's stuff like that where you think if we had an owner who really was passionate about the club, who was here 24/7, it was in London, it wasn't in bloody US, he was in London, he was in the UK. If he was here all the time and he meant something to the club, he'd build a great foundation. He or she would build a great foundation and really get this club going. You know, and that's why I'm worried. Would this be a one-season wonder? You know, even like you said, TJ, if we won the league title, well, they just jog on now. Okay, they've won one. We've got a bit of money.
Yeah,
just leave them now.
Well, you know, and this isn't just an American owner problem, by the way. I do want to stress this. It's a big bit turning these teams that were built in these communities and really like the fans like Jez, the fans like Darren were there before football became a business. You see it at Tottenham Hotspur right now, where Daniel Levy is not interested in putting a winning team on the field. He's interested in incorporating Tottenham Hotspur into a theme park, into a corporation, into a go-kart track, into Beyonce FC, into Lady Gaga FC. Like, that is a prime example of what owners in general are doing. They don't care about the product. They care about putting your ass in the seat. That's all they care about. And if the product is just good enough to do that, they're going to be happy with it. That's just the way it is. And I'm gonna wrap this up. Does you guys have any other further comment on this before I ask you guys to go around? We really didn't. We previewed the Arsenal West Ham game, but we kind of spun off into the universe. That being said, I love this conversation. I love it when this stuff happens and it happens organically. That's always the best shows.
And down side roads. It happens on my channel all the time. I the other week I still got it in front of me here. I had 8 topics to talk about. We talked about 3.
Right.
Because
exactly.
The chat comes in and you say, oh yeah, this is a good comment. You talk about that, and then then you zigzag off somewhere else, and
and then we have 3 giant brains as the panelists who come up with good questions to ask and intriguing questions, and the chat has been great tonight. The chat has been absolutely great, and we've had 10 viewers. This is the first time I've had 10 viewers consistently throughout. So that means people are tuning in and they are staying tuned in. So thank you very much, everybody, for that. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
So let's
yeah,
go ahead
yeah,
and start
yeah,
signing
yeah.
off.
You had
What'd you say,
17.
Jess? Sorry. Yeah, we had 17 at one point. Yeah.
It's only going to go up, TJ. It will only go
Yeah,
up.
it's fantastic.
This is the beginning.
Yeah, and this is better than I ever thought it would be, and we're going to the moon, baby. We're going to the moon. So we're gonna start signing off here. Again, I want to thank Jez, Conor, and Darren, especially. Darren, you are welcome back anytime,
Thank you,
my friend.
dudes.
I really, really appreciate your insight and your knowledge.
Thanks for having us on.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. So let's go ahead. Give your prediction, your final score prediction for West Ham United. Shout your socials, and then we're gonna get out of here. Jez.
I'm going 4-0 Arsenal, and I'm quite confident on that. I think we'll bounce back from last weekend. To be fair, we got it. Arteta got it wrong, but Anfield, let's get it right. It's a tricky place to go. I'd like him to mix it up. I'd like him to see a different lineup this weekend. We know it won't be. We know it'll be the same, but it is what it is. Jez, Arsenal history and more. And everything Arsenal history and general chit chat, and basically get lovely people on, have a discussion, have some fun, and get everybody's opinions. And on Insta, it's collins.jez. I don't do a lot of stuff on Insta. I just really love the group chat we've got. But come on, the Arsenal.
Yep, there we go. There we go. Conor.
Yes, thank you very much for having me on again, TJ. With legends like Jez and Darren, always a pleasure speaking with them. I'm going to go with 3-0 to Arsenal. I'll be very surprised if we concede against that West Ham side. I'd be very disappointed as well, because I really want to keep a clean sheet and get that goal difference up. Get it competing with City. I'm going to go with 3-0. And I do editing work, like I said at the beginning. I'm an editor. So I do stuff for social media branding and YouTube. So if anyone wants to hit me up for my services, please do. On my Instagram, it's cmo.editing. And I really think we can get I want to get a clean sheet this week, and I want Ramsdale to put in the same shift that he did against Liverpool, be even better. So I'm going to go for 3-0. And thanks for having me on, TJ. I really appreciate it.
Beautiful. Of course. Conor Media, the most. I have the second best intro on YouTube. I keep saying that. All right, Darren.
Yeah, Darren Sullivan 49 on Insta. I'm going for West Ham 1, Arsenal 3. Come on, you Gunner.
Yeah. Let's go. There we go. I love it.
Love it.
Okay, I'll start taking us out. Jez, we got to get Jaminho in the group. He's been talking to me about it, and I keep forgetting. It's been kind of a terrible week work-wise.
Right now.
What? Yeah. Adam in. I didn't want to assume. So, Jaminho, welcome to the group, and I apologize already.
Just bring him in, man. Just invite him in. No problem.
All right, cool. All right, Jaminho, there you go.
I'm doing these things. So, that's why I have to get hold of Conor. Help me out.
All right.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll get that done. I think I've done the right one. Yeah. So, Jaminho, you should be on it now, my friend. Welcome to the group chat.
Perfect. All right, Jaminho. Sorry to your data plan already.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Yeah, my internet's starting to cut, so I need to start to cut too. Guys, again, TJ Warren TV. Thank you guys so much for joining. Tomorrow we have the American Idiot Show, episode 6, with Jez joining us again. We're gonna have Anfield Uncle Rods. He's a Liverpool content creator, really, really nice guy. And I hope he doesn't rub it in too much on us that we bottled it last weekend. And then we will also have the one and only Kyle Walsh Gunner on. He making his triumphant return to the show and the channel. I'm sure he's going to have many things to say about it. We'll be talking about obviously Arsenal, West Ham. We'll be talking about the Europa League and the Champions League, and we will also be doing our world famous Premier League predictions. And I have a spoiler alert for you. It went very well for me. So I am going to wear that championship belt proudly. But yeah, without further ado, I just want to say thank you guys very, very much for joining, everybody in the chat. and we will see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Later.